I was quite average in studies, got in an average college, passed out with an very average marks. Fortunately, as soon as I came out, I got a job. My experience in UK, I realized that the attitude towards work is laid back. It's okay if you miss the deadline. It's okay if you are not taking off, and because you're taking off, the deadline has to move, and that's okay. And I did not realize until I moved to US, where everything is ASAP. Yeah, the usual color of mail is red.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Horizon Tales. Today, we are thrilled to have with us Abhishek Singh, a data engineer, a virtuoso, whose career has spanned 4 countries across 3 continents. Starting his career with writing SQL queries in Mumbai, his understanding of data took him to UK, eventually leading him to the US. In his pursuit of toying with data, he ended up working with industry giants like Aviva, Macy's, and CVS Health. Now based in Vancouver, Canada, he brought his expertise to LinkedIn as data engineer. Let's hear about the man behind this Houdini of data. So Abhishek, we would like to basically hear from you about your journey. Take us through where did you start from and where did you reach and how.
Sure. So I'm Abhishek. I happen to know Somil from a couple of years. I like the usual story of an Indian guy. I have the same story. I was quite average in studies, got in an average college, passed out with an very average marks. Fortunately, as soon as I came out, I got a job.
And this was with the
This was
TCS,
with the,
with the Tata
no,
Consulting Services.
no, this was with a company called Tata Technologies. Back in 2009, and this was for a role of Siebel developer. Those days, I mean, Siebel
Yeah,
was one of the, I
good
guess,
CR.
top CRM product. I was probably lucky to get into that product, because I don't know, the good thing about these products are that even though you know this much, somehow people starts valuing you. I knew little bit of Siebel, and still I started getting offer from outside. I mean, I'm not a really tech guy, so I was hoping that I shouldn't get Java, this, that. So for my good luck, I got into something which doesn't have that much of depth, and still I was relevant in the market.
Well, it's not always important that who made the tool. It's always important that who knows the best use of the tool. So I think that's where it
Yeah,
applies, Abhishek.
I could say that. So I was there for 2 years, and within that technology and domain, I moved my job from Tata Tech to Capgemini, again in Mumbai, and within Capgemini, I had to take multiple relocations: Mumbai to Bangalore, Bangalore to Mumbai. But all in all, my time in Capgemini was quite uneventful. Did not really progress much with tech, with learning. So I don't have much to talk about Capgemini.
So how was this hopping going on? Like you were going on the projects, or what was it, like a personal choice that you made? Or how about that?
It was actually both. I wanted to go to Bangalore. I mean, Bangalore, as per me, is the best city in the world. So once I asked for the relocation, the second time they pushed me for the relocation. So it was actually both, and I don't mind, to be honest, relocating. I was bachelor. I had no issues. So once I came to Bangalore, I mean, I on the very first day, I fell in love with that city. The culture, the vibe, the weather, on and on and on. I just loved the city. I mean, through and through. And there I felt that probably I'll base myself here for like forever. I'll buy a house or whatever. And my time in Capgemini was going okay. I in between I moved couple of technologies. Like I once went to Salesforce, did that for 6 months, and then went into a ETL a product called SAP Bots. Did that for a couple of months, and eventually end up doing a project which had primarily Informatica as ETL, and the domain basically was data warehousing within finance. And that sort of stuck to me with my profile, and I did that for a couple of months, and I felt that the time is right for me to move out, because I realized that company like Accenture, Capgemini, they don't have much to offer when you're an on-site junkie. I was like, I really wanted an on-site opportunity, and that was not coming my way, especially in Capgemini. So I felt that I should be moving into TCS, Infosys of the world, where their model sort of suits them to send as many people outside, and maybe in that Beti Ganga mein mera bhi.
Yeah.
So if you have to see how many cities have you lived in, Abhishek, like in orders of you're moving. Where
Oh
all
yeah.
did you move from?
So I did not even tell you, like, my dad was in a transferable job. So all in all, I've changed like 9 schools, and yeah, 9 schools, and I've seen 10 different cities, 7 different states. Yeah. So in that sense, I mean, I've been relocating almost every 2 years, 1.5, 2 years, and that sort of stuck to me even during my job.
Yeah, so that did help you in somehow, in some way, or was it like just like, okay, this is a new experience, I will live it, and then probably later in the life you got to know, okay, this helped me or not? Like any insight that.
I'm a believer that every experience shapes you. To that effect, I see one or two things that happened to me. I mean, I was an extrovert child,
Mhm.
and I sort of became an introvert.
Yeah, you had the opposite switch.
Yeah, and it happened when I had to cope up with the surrounding, which is like extremely foreign to me. For instance, I when I was in class third, my father was transferred to Manipur, and to live there and go to same school where a lot of folks from that place and others as well, to gel up with them, I had no clue how to talk to them. I mean, I had no benchmark. So probably that sort of triggered a shift in within me, that I started, I guess, listening more. But all in all, it was fun experience. I mean, I have no regrets. If given a chance, I would not do it other way. Yeah. So we were in. I was talking about Capgemini experience, and since I moved from Capgemini to TCS in 2014, the thing I liked about TCS is that you do not need to be a genius to go on site. All you have to do is to stand under a tree, and the fruit will it'll drop on you.
Just in the same, like the whole IT culture past back then, like when technology was not so much boom, like nobody has like all this Instagram and videos coming up everywhere. Like people were not much aware on site was some kind of like opportunity that you get, and everyone was like, okay, if everyone can go there. It was create a hawks also, like, okay, if you go to on site, you have to do these big projects. There are big people sitting out there, technocrats who knows in and out of everything. But in reality, I suppose when you reach there, you understand, okay, it's not that what we have thought of. It's
Yeah.
just that it was not accessible at that time, and now it is like, yes, we
Yeah.
are here.
Agreed. I too found strange. I mean, in my head, I used to picture people who probably, went on show. I thought that guy must have written some algorithm, something out of the world. I mean, and somehow I couldn't picture myself like that. So when I came to TCS and I found folks just like me going to various places and in fairly good number, I felt probably I'm home, which is why I have a great amount of gratitude for TCS. Although I also do bad mouthing for about that, but all in all, it has been a great experience for me. Got there, got into a project which was not fun at all. Uh, got released, and subsequently, in TCS, there is something called Know Me, where people would come and tell, we have 20 positions on show, just send resume. I just couldn't sleep. That night, I just made list of like, I believe, 19 project managers, and I sent my resume to everybody. And I thought maybe one or two will give me a call if I'm lucky. When I woke up, I think I got mail back from, I believe, 11.
So
Uh,
downplaying yourself.
no. So
Yeah.
the thing is that they have so much of requirement outside that they are not getting enough people. The weird part with UK visa eligibility is, at least at that time, that you got to have certain package or certain CTC,
Mm.
only then you get the visa. So within TCS, there are a lot of people who were not eligible at all. So a lot of projects were looking for people who are eligible. So even I was surprised. Yeah. So that happened. I mean, after that, everything was smooth. Within a month, I moved to UK. There is a city called Bristol, I believe, uh, 200 miles from London.
Right.
So, but was your like onshore activity was in London or was in the same city?
No, it was Bristol, not
Okay.
London. London, we say, just to give an idea.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with London.
Yeah. But did you suppose you must have visited like quite many
Yeah, yeah,
times?
yeah. I didn't get good vibe when I was in London, especially because probably it was my first time. Okay, so the weird thing that happened with me was when I first went to UK, I started feeling homesick. And to the extent that I started making some algorithm in my head that how do I approach my project manager to let me go back?
Were you
Because
able to figure it out? What was the reason that made you homesick?
so I spoke to a couple of people. I mean, so the most interesting one was somebody said that somebody in India has, filed an FIR on me. And I have to go and appear in the court, something like that. People did tell me that it's 3 weeks rule.
Hmm.
Once you come here,
Yeah.
you feel this way, and once you go back to India, you also again, feel like
Yeah.
where the hell
You
I've
were
come.
better in UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought, let me give it at least 3 weeks, and those things are true. I mean, after 3 weeks, I was fine. I was good.
Okay. This was a time when you get married, or I think it was around this time that you were married, or
Yeah. So around this time, I met my wife.
Mhm.
Not physically met, in the sense we were talking over phone, Skype, and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
So was it
everything
an
was
arranged
fine.
marriage, like, or did you find her
It
that
was
work?
it was an arrangement.
Okay, nice.
And just to say, I think because I know them a little bit personally, so they both from same company as well at that
Yeah.
time, I suppose.
Yeah. So she too was working for TCS.
Wow.
Yeah. So
36 gold मिलते हैं ना. This was like the 37.
yeah, so I had no scopes to, वो जो फेंकने का होता ना कि मैं अपने प्रोजेक्ट में ये करता हूँ, मुझे इतने लोग सब पता था उसे.
Yeah, you cannot boast yourself out there. I mean, they know all the truth. Now they
Nobody
know.
can boast
Yeah.
themselves in front of their wives, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, even though I would have tried, she knew people in my project. So
Done.
yeah,
This was fun.
So, Abhishek, if you have to look back now, look back to your journey, what do you think were the lucky things that happened to you and possibly that do not happen that often to people?
this is something that I do often think about, because I am somebody who believes in luck, and I do believe that whatever happened with me in career or broadly in life is, is sort of either a product of my luck and whatever my effort was. So coming to UK, it was all by chance. The detail that I probably missed was that after joining TCS, I resigned probably in the matter of 6 months, 8 months. And one of my friend was in UK. He was in TCS, and he just said, "You're just doing a grave mistake." But for some reason, I just wanted to move out. My project was not going well. Nothing was there to look forward to. I couldn't see any on-site opportunity that they're going to give it to me. That project was like the client used to sit in Pune. So just think about. So there was no scope. With that in mind, I resigned. But when my friend, his name is Madhu, he called me and he told that this happens with a lot of folks in TCS. All you have to do is try your best to get released from there. That sort of stuck with me and took my resignation back. And fortunately, I mean, I don't know how they released me. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Something, because that project is known for not giving release.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe my work was so terrible that they thought,
Send him
off
back.
you go.
No, I'm sure you had better places to be. And
Yeah, I
obviously
mean,
there you are.
I don't know. The only explanation that comes to me was that the project manager of that project, he got sick for a couple of days. Somebody came to fill in, and he probably did not know the culture of that project. I asked him for release, and he said, "Okay."
Nice.
And so yeah, so had that not happened, at least then I wouldn't have come to UK. Yeah, so it was pure luck.
Luck with your efforts of like, okay, I will do whatever it takes to get.
Efforts, I would not really count my effort here, to be honest. I mean, whatever I was doing, enough people were doing. It's just that the only credit I probably could give myself was that I was adamant that I want to go.
Hmm.
That's it. Beyond that, effort wise, अभी 3-4 बार चाय पीने जाता था मुझे. ऐसा कुछ मैंने किया नहीं था जो, है ना, that could have made me stand out in project of 100 people. So yeah.
So just a good question. So basically, when you say the project was not working, and when you had all these feelings about like project is not working, I had to quit, I have to go back, and at the same time you were feeling homesick. I know that many of us has gone through that same strange feeling, as you know, like you got a recommendation from someone. So what would you recommend if there is a colleague of yours right now with you and says, I want to just go back and leave everything, whatever I've built till now, it doesn't matter to me. What one thing that you would say, apart from just like, okay, be adamant about it, but then what was the one feeling that you had in there to say, okay, this is what I want you to do now to get over it?
I would say distinguish signal from noise within yourself. We do get affected by our surrounding, and especially people around you and what they are saying. And in that process, we somehow, are not able to figure out exactly what I want. So if you really want to go, then go. I mean, it's not a heaven. If you're not liking it, you're not liking it. Go back. But get that clarity and just, do some introspection to actually figure out, is it my original thought, or is it borrowed one. So in my case, I was very clear that I have to go. So yeah, I wouldn't say staying back in India or going onshore. Either of that has their pros and cons, and different people may like different option. I mean, there is no judgment on that. It's just that I wanted to go and experience that. That's it.
That's a great advice. So basically, think through what you want and have no regrets once you take the decision. Yeah, that's great. So after you did that release from the project, I think you came back to India, and this is the time you were in Mumbai working back from India. And like, for how long you were there?
I was in Bangalore.
Okay, and that was a place that you really enjoyed, as you have thoroughly said that, yeah, this is the city that I always want to. So have you ever thought of like learning Kannada when you were there, or did you got a hang of it?
Man, I'm terrible learning any language. So one or two things that I picked up was, like, I used to get random calls, people talking to me in Kannada, and I mean, the other person doesn't speak Hindi or English. So I picked up, like, people say Kannada Gotilla. So that's it.
Having lived in Bangalore, let's make you get through most of the stuff as well. It doesn't get you like a rental house easily, but yeah, it does get you other things quite easily.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. So the reason why I really like Bangalore is, if you are somebody who is really looking for a job, at least that time around, wear your office clothes on Saturdays, just go. There'll be some company that will be doing some walk-in, and I have done that out of just, I mean, at times, just to see their office. Like once, I'm forgetting the bank's name. Okay, Wells Fargo. Uh, yeah, they were doing for Java profiles. So my friend was going. I also went. They said that guy said, if we clear first round, they give pizza. So idea was, I announced that we clear at least one round and have a lunch. Yeah, so I love that place. I mean, now people do tell me about traffic and everything, and honestly, traffic was worse even then. There was no place on road where you can actually go forward. You have to take this way, then that way. But
But Bangalore is just getting better year on year on doing this, making
really,
the traffic worse. That's what
yeah. Somebody was saying that there is no place in Bangalore that is not
crowded.
that doesn't have, what he was saying, some mud that comes out of digging the. Yeah,
That
so
is true.
I know, but gradually Bangalore is getting to its limits, and probably a couple of years down the line, people do have to really think about finding other places other than Bangalore. But around my time, I just love that place. It has that big city vibe as well as tier two town vibe as well.
I understand. So, going back to a bit towards the professional side again,
Yeah.
like you worked with some major brands like LinkedIn, Macy's,
Yeah.
CVS Health in your journey, right?
Yeah.
So, what was your experience about the work culture that differs between these companies as well as the different countries?
Okay, so I'll first cover the country, because there I have clear distinction. So my experience in UK, I realized that the attitude towards work is laid back. It's okay if you miss the deadline. It's okay if you are not taking off, and because you're taking off, the deadline has to move, and that's. And I did not realize until I moved to US, where everything is ASAP. Yeah, the usual color of mail is red,
Right.
and people start with the sense of urgency. instead of telling the problem or the requirement, they start with the sense of urgency that we are screwed. This happened, that happened, and finally they'll tell you, this is what we have to do.
Ironically, that's how the economy speaks as well for both of
Yeah,
them.
maybe that works somehow for them, because I believe in US people are ready to try and break. In UK I felt they want to follow a process that works, and that works through the years, and they do not want to move an iota from that, because that gives them jitters. I mean, any changes just uh, I felt they feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And this is when you're speaking through, like, this is, I know from the product development side, the companies that are majorly into product development, they do have this kind of same work culture both in UK and in US.
So that's a good point there, because my experience in UK was not from a product development company, because I was working for a client which was majorly into insurance, and
Okay.
insurance is a sleepy client in probably every sense, because for them the complexity is neither the scale nor the speed. Both the in both the sense, they are they fall somewhat in the middle bracket, where they don't have to compete with the, let's say, Salesforce of the world, where they have to bring out these products, these features. Yeah, so they are pretty stable if you want to have a life.
Yeah. You can say that, like, when you're working in the US environment, both startups and the service industries work in the similar fashion, like in the sense of like urgency. And you
Yeah.
can always, there's always a meme going on, like if you're working offshore, there is like you work on holidays and you work on their holidays as well. So like twofold.
That's true. My comment on US, just have that in the background, that I was working for a e-commerce company, and their requirement is as such, wherein if the service is down for like 15 seconds or 15 minutes, they have a fair amount of they have a fair idea how much user, how much dollar they are going to lose. So in that case, I understand their urgency. Yeah, so this is the distinction that I make when I talk about UK and US. Canada is like cousin sister of US. I mean, they don't have their own culture. They sort of borrow it based on the client that you're serving. So if you're somebody who works for a, let's say, Crown Corporation of BC, you're like, it'll be fun. But you are working for somebody who whose office is in US and serving an American client, not so much.
And I suppose you have worked with both of them.
No. So since I've come here, I've always worked for an American client. So yeah, I've never worked for a Canadian company here.
Let's take a step back and talk about, like, when you went back to India, what happened that pushed you to like go to US? And I suppose there were a few challenges there as well in terms of your lifestyle and managing. I think that time you had a kid as well.
No, so this is where my wife comes in. So when I was in UK, I got to know that TCS is looking for resources who have some experience in big data, and they're okay to do the visa and everything to bring them to US. Although I was not really inclined, because I felt that sticking to UK was right thing to do. I was getting comfortable with that market. I mean, I had fair amount of idea that if you have to move within UK, what is the best city, what is the best sector. As in, if you get a job in banks, you can make decent amount of money. So US was not in my radar. It's just that when I discussed this with my wife, she was on board like that very second. And I had no other option. I mean, I had to try. Yeah, but I was uncomfortable coming to US. So yeah. So it was my wife's push. But in the hindsight, I would say that was a great decision. I mean, I wouldn't have grown developer had I not come to US.
And who do you, so one major person to like congratulate for your like career would be your wife, and behind every successful man is a woman.
Yeah, big time, big time. I mean, I'll tell you, within even US, I had to change a couple of projects, and I was looking for one project that I can really brag about. And I was not getting it. And TCS was asking me, can you go to this city, that city? And I was not okay. I mean, I said, you give me any kachra work, I'll do, but I'm not going to change city now. But all of a sudden, they said that there's a company called Macy's, and they are doing some machine learning project, they'll take an interview, and if you're okay, we can process your resume for them. I don't know. I had no, I think, clue about machine learning. I said I'm just a data guy. Uh, yeah, but for some reason, my wife pushed me, just say yes and sit in the. And again, my somehow my luck went. They just believed that I know. They didn't even ask. And
Okay.
all of a sudden, I was in San Francisco for that prestigious client doing a machine learning project, which I had no idea about. But again, had my wife not pushed me, I would have stayed back within my comfortable place and not tried this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the humble part of Abhishek saying that okay, I just
Yes.
cracked somehow,
Yeah,
and
a machine
yeah,
No,
learning project with Macy's, like I do it for bread and butter. I do it like a
no, man.
pickle in my paratha.
I so I'll tell you where I feel my luck really helped me. I don't know how, because that project just released two developers before me because they were not performing well. So I have no logical reason why they will let me first take me and then let me be, because I did not develop a story till 3 months. I just went through that. There's a library called Prediction IO. That was a
Right.
base library that they were using to get the real time prediction. And I just went through that library code for 3 months. I did not deliver one story. There is no way in hell they'll let the billing be on for somebody who is not delivering anything. But maybe they had let two people go. They didn't have any option. They had to give somebody a try, and I was that person. तो यार 3 महीने में तो कुछ तो आप पढ़ ही लोगे ना.
yeah, 3 months is a long time. I
या
suppose.
तो मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि मतलब 3 महीने के बाद जो मैंने पहला स्टोरी डेवलप किया, इनफैक्ट दो ही तीन स्टोरी डेवलप किया एंड कोविड हैपेंड. सो या बट दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ गेव मी कॉन्फिडेंस दैट आई न्यू इट इज in bits and pieces what machine learning is all about, and I was able to connect dots when people were talking about it. So I sort of understood when they were saying that we have to train our model, we have to deploy the model, we need elastic search because we want fuzzy search. That particular project sort of made some buckets in my head, and I feel really grateful because before that I had no clue.
Yeah, you said you learn on the job. You learn on when things go wild. Yeah, that's great. And this is one of the most like unspoken quality of like, okay, I can handle this. I don't know how to do it. I probably go into it deep down and see what things I can pick up, what things can make sense to me, and then build on top of that.
Man, I'm not like that. I'm basically a negative thinker. My mind really works amazing in finding problems and figure out the way I will not be able to do it. So I would give myself credit that I had the belief that I'll be able to do. It's just that there are times when you don't have an option. And I love those times because since you don't have an option, you somehow get the power of clarity. Your backs are against the wall. This is the only thing that you have. You have moved a couple of cities in past few months. So you just give all you could and leave it to the God. In my case, it worked. But had it not worked, still I would have been grateful because there are a couple of projects that you brag about. Do not work anywhere near to machine learning / AI. But somebody still asks me what you do. I still refer to that project even today.
This is when the Macy's projects took you from like US. So in US, could you expand a little bit more? I know that there was much travel involved, and this was a time where your whole family was with you. And walk us through how it went and what are the things that you are like grateful for there in the US.
So the first city that I went was Atlanta, and for some reason, client was confused that whether he wants me in Atlanta office or Austin office. So within weeks, they asked me to relocate and move to Austin. I stayed there in Austin for like 5 months. But bear in mind, this is not Macy's. This is a company called Home Depot. I stayed there for 5 6 months in Austin, and after that, client released me. And the feedback, to be honest, was that the developer's not at par. And although I was not surprised because I was, moving from my older tech to a new tech. But then my project manager asked me in Austin that would you be okay to go to San Francisco? We have something like this. Or would you be willing to go? And at that time, I was not comfortable. I said, let me find something here. And to be honest, the peculiar thing about San Francisco is that everything is costly. Everything, double in terms of tariff, but your salary remains same. So the company like TCS, Infosys of the world, they find it very difficult to move their resources from a decent place like Austin, Colorado, to something like New York, or in this case San Francisco. So I knew that it will be quite denting in terms of finance. And that time my wife was not working as well, so I was not really comfortable. But then my wife asked me to just give it a shot and trust that everything will be fine. Yeah, and that's about it.
That's what you moved to San Francisco.
Yeah, so I moved to San Francisco for Macy's. Worked there for a year, and then COVID happened. Macy's put everybody on furlough, in the sense that the whole company was on furlough. And that meant that all contractors would be released, and I was released, my wife was released. So one detail here, that my wife too got a project within Macy's. So in that sense, it turned out to be a really great move, that I got kind of a dream project. She got a project that after maternity. So all in all, it was a good move. But then COVID happened and we both came to bench. And yeah, from there we got again the same project, CVS. Stayed there for, I believe, 5 or 6 months. But while I was there, Macy's reached back to me asking if is there any way I could join them back. So the option that I had, like, I really wanted to join Macy's back, but TCS wouldn't let me. Uh, it's the weird thing about these consultancy company. I mean, anybody from these companies would understand that getting a release from your existing project to join a different project, it's not in your hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it did not happen. And that is when Macy's offered me to move to Canada and work from there.
Nice.
Okay.
So, going forward in this journey, Abhishek, can you take us through your transition from US to Canada? How it happened? Yeah, and like not just about the work, but also about understanding the culture, living through the problems that you face, the highs and lows.
Yeah, sure. So moving to Canada, man, I would say we both. So a couple of things were nagging our heads, me and my wife. One was that we were supposed to travel during the peak COVID, and with a kid which was 2.5, 3 years old. So that was raising big alarm in our heads, that what if this happened, what that happens. And me being me, I start from the worst scenario and somehow travel back to a normal one.
Then make it positive.
Yeah, but that was one. Second was, man, when somebody talks, or just explain Canada, the thing that crosses your mind is a lot of snow.
That's true.
Those scenery that where people can see miles and miles of snow with nowhere to go. And actually I had that image of Canada. So I was not, and I don't do well with cold. So that's one thing that I wanted. I was asked to move to Toronto. So we moved there in 2021, and that too during peak cold, uh, in Feb. So we stayed in a Airbnb for like 2 months, and I can assure you that I did not even go to the balcony of the Airbnb, let alone going outside. Yes, I would say that when I first came to Canada, I was pleasantly surprised. It's almost identical in terms of how US is built. Like you would probably find Chicago almost identical to Mississauga or Toronto. There's same kind of left turn, same traffic rules, same cars, same. I'd say people in Canada. I mean, there is some diversity. I mean, it depends in US. It could be very diverse in US, say San Francisco. But if you go to places like Minneapolis, Alabama, it's not there. Yeah, but all in all, I like Canada. I mean, I like places where there is some sense of stability, in the sense that if I'm going out, although it could happen here as well. But I know that somebody may not. The chances of somebody coming and shoot
Shooting.
me, chances are not as high.
Okay.
Versus,
That's
so
a good
if my wife
comparison.
and kid are outside, I'm
So like this is the worst comparison from the worst perspective. Yeah,
Could you
we
compare
now.
it to any Indian city if you have to compare it to?
and in look, the thing about our experience in India is that we have amazing context. Like, if somebody asked me, go out in Gurgaon at 11 p.m., I would not do that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but in US, you must be, aware of the zip code and the dynamics of that. I mean, hope you understand.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you,
Yeah.
Yeah. So without getting much political about like the situations out there, let's transition into like the working. So I think when you moved to Canada, you were working with the clients that are based out of US. So how does the remote work culture like helped you, or did it help you? And what are the good parts and the bad parts of the same thing?
So I actually have moved from opinion A about remote work culture to now diabolically opposite opinion. I used to love working from home because I am somebody who likes at least his morning sorted and not rushed through. I don't like that. I don't like that day where I have to really wake up, get up,
Badly.
and just move.
Yeah, just take a
In that
car,
sense,
40 minutes drive.
yeah. In that sense, I love it. But I do feel that I'm not growing, and then feel somewhere I read or somebody's told me, or I don't know, that you become average of 5 people you spend most of your time with.
yeah,
That's a very
that's
famous
true.
quote.
Yeah, and I feel that I am probably not getting enough. What do you
Exposure.
say? Exposure, or so the thing is, when you go to office or some setup like this, you get ideas from people around who is working on what. Is he good? Why is he so good? What does he do that makes it or her good? I don't have it. So I do feel there is a merit in going to office and working from there.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if given a chance, you will definitely go back then.
No, I'm okay if I'm not growing. Still,
Yeah, that's
yeah, because when I weigh both of these things, I feel I still would want to work from home.
I think it should be hybrid. I think that's what people would appreciate. 3 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 2 plus 1, whatever it could be. But I think a balance is needed, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that I came to this conclusion that going to offices, it helps you.
Well, honestly,
uh,
you won't believe, but I never got work from home. Like throughout COVID also. Yeah, I was engaged with PwC at that time for a year and then EY, and I was working with government clients both the times. So the government is never closed, right? And if you are assisting certain IAS, certain joint secretaries or additional secretaries of any ministry, they just can't work from home. There are protocols, there are ways to maintain distance, but never have I ever got work from home.
Not even during peak COVID wave.
No, 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 no. I mean, you at that time I used to get hybrid, so that was the good part. Yep. So yeah, I mean, there are certain functions which are always working. So we were the part of essential services to keep the country running at that time. But
That's why you'll grow.
no,
I mean, there are days when I really feel down and fed up, and I do feel like going to office, But all in all, those days like 1 in 10 or once in a month.
that's
Uh,
true.
I think we are near the end of the whole conversation. So one last thing I would like to like, I think there are many tips that you gave for like emerging engineers back in India from where we belong. Like I have one of my cousin brother who would like to, who's just starting his career in IT industry, and then he gets all bottlenecked with this all the AI stuff. And so maybe you can throw some light, give some inputs of yours. Like if I have to start as an ML engineer yourself, like if you have to start off, what would you to do and how would you go about it?
and first off, I do want to say that I feel for folks that are coming out from the college now. They don't have what we had. they really have to push through. So it's not gonna come as easy as it came, at least for me. But I feel the AI wave, or especially side, the way it's evolving, the good thing about uh, e- evolution of these tech is the gap between an engineer with 10 years of experience and a folk who is just 2 years or 1 year of experience has reduced to like a minimal level. I mean, given that if you are good at using, let's say, chat gpt or whatever, you probably can produce same quality of work as somebody who is like doing it for 10 years or 15 years. So in that sense, it's a good thing for you. But I would still say, in my experience, people who do well is people who all in all understand their client, which nobody told me. In my experience, I just would read the technical spec and make whatever is expected out of me. But around me, people who really try to have this conversation, why are you developing this, what will happen if you don't, stuff like that. I have seen a couple of those enlightened folks who has this curiosity. They are doing really good now. I mean, regardless of whatever their technology was, they are places where most of people like me would like to be. So yeah. And third, to be honest, man, the world is in state of flux. Nobody knows. So I would just say, just hang in there.
Great advice from like thinking from the worst, coming to the best. Like, okay, just hanging there, you will get through it like everyone else. It's fine. That's
It's
really
like it's like when the world is thinking of machine learning, start focusing on the humans again.
yeah.
But
Know your customer, know your client, know the human behind.
no, I mean, I do feel at the end of the day, human will trust a human more than a machine. So people, even though, let's say somebody is trying to sell you an amazing car, it's a salesman versus an LLM.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's such a huge decision, you would like to talk to somebody who looks like you. So I feel that this AI chat GPT thing has been blown little bit out of proportion, or maybe who knows. But I do feel that if I am somebody who is buying something, I would buying it from somebody who I have some idea about.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why the YouTube reviews are not that right?
Yes. Yeah, indeed. So, Abhishek, just a quick activity that we wanted to do. We want you to tell us three things that you love about Canada and three things not so much.
So
So I love about Canada the fact that, man, the life is a bit chilled. I mean, I work every day and I go and play badminton, and I do not have to push through anything just to do both. And to that extent, I mean, we have courts like around our houses, like even his house there. So in that sense, Canada is built in a way that you can enjoy these activities. Second is, it's at least the part where I live in Canada, it's very scenic. I didn't know before I moved here. It's probably the most beautiful place that I have lived. Amazing, waterfall, lakes, that, yeah. And third, in general, I felt people here are friendlier compared to my other cities that I've been to. It was easier to connect with them. The 3 points I don't like about Canada, man, it's a very small job market. So if you lose your job, finding the next gig, you may have to wait. I've seen cases where somebody has to wait like a couple of months. And if you're somebody who values money, US is the place. Canada is not. They don't have that pay scale as. And third, the third is probably the common one, the weather.
You don't like it?
No, it
Was it
rains
too
like
hot or what?
no, it rains like 5 months of the year. Another, you count 3 or 4 months, it will be extremely cold.
Okay.
So all in all, it's like 2 and a half months that you really get to go out and enjoy the sun.
Understood.
yeah, the Vancouver weather is more like, okay, they call it Raincouver for the same thing. And yeah, the rest of the Canada, when you go, is like mostly winters most of the time. So thank you for taking us through your journey, Abhishek. I hope we covered most of the ground and not as much as you have covered across the continents. This is the last section of our podcast where we go, what we call it like Horizon Hot Picks, or in short, we call it HP. So in this, we just wanted to ask you if you have any resources that you find it very helpful, that helped you like go through different countries, that you'd like to plug and share.
Oh man, I don't. I mean, it's majorly my wife's department.
So maybe you should ask her then tell
Yeah.
us that.
Probably we should take a recording of his wife as well.
Yeah.
No, I did ask Somil if you want her as well. So
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
we
I
can
said-
host her eventually. Why not?
Yeah.
these days, like on the work front, it's pretty usual, pretty boring.
Mhm.
On the personal side, I'm reading upon health. It's one thing that I spend a lot of time and money as well. So yeah, so I just read upon health, body, muscles, or supplements, stuff like that. And to that effect, I go through. Guess you must have heard Huberman Lab. So I go through his podcast. Yeah. So I believe he's from Harvard or somewhere. So he's somebody who gives the research about stuff like creatine. So like creatine, how many people took for how many days and what were the effects, side effects, stuff like that. So yeah, personally, I'm interested to know a little bit more about my body.
That's good. The longer you live, longer you travel.
Yeah.
Further you travel.
So CVS, he has left CVS, but CVS hasn't left him yet. I would say.
Yeah.
Actually, this quest to know about my body and everything that also started from sort of negative point in my head, wherein I saw somebody who was really fit and fine, and he used to play badminton with us, and all of a sudden he got stroke in the court itself, and yeah, so that really made me think, because I'm somebody who at least lives a casual life. You give whatever food, I'll just eat. No calorie count, no this, no that. I sort of after that, I started realizing that I must at least do something about my health.
Everyone should.
Yes.
On that note, thank you, Abhishek, once again,
Thank you so much, Abhi.
and all the best with your two kids out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.